since the 60s.
Approximately 20 years, as long as my son's worked here.
Probably 1981.
Whether you grew up in the neighborhood or moved there years later, if you've lived in St. Clair Shores, you've probably been to Gilbert's Lodge. And while the owners have changed a bit over the years, the clientele has not.
Usually, if you're here pretty regular, you'll run into somebody that you know from 30 years ago.
The Gilbert's family was one of the very few bars in the 60s and 70s that you could actually bring young children into. You know, it was run really well. The Gilbert's family ran it really well.
This is Louis BRICOLAS, and running restaurants runs in his family. So when Gilbert's went up for sale in 1990, he saw an opportunity.
It had run down over the years. It lost its flavor. It had no windows. It was dark. And so I just brought it back to life. People had known the place for so many years. They loved it. Their grandfather brought them here. Then their fathers brought them here. We're in like 4 generations now.
He made some updates to the menu, using better quality ingredients and adding a few healthy options. But they also kept the classic bar food as well.
The fajitas are real good, and Mondays are half off on pizza.
I would tell them to come and get the fajitas or the nachos.
The quesadillas are outstanding here.
And for those of you who pay close attention to pop culture, yes, Eminem used to work here, and his favorite dish was the chicken quesadilla.
He wanted to take 2 weeks off again. I go ahead, but this time when you come back, we're going to have to talk. You got a baby now. So I guess he was out there, and he got onto a radio station. And while I was on the radio station doing some rap stuff, one of the guys from Dr. Dre's group heard him, called him in, and he called me 2 weeks later and says they signed me.
Everything was going well for Gilbert's under the new management. Then, in October 2013, there was a fire.
When Local 4 first arrived on the scene, the smoke was thick, the fire and heat so intense the front windows blew out.
So it pretty much toasted the whole kitchen. Smoke damaged the whole restaurant, so we started fresh. We even ripped out all the underground plumbing. We made a whole new restaurant out of it. I took the opportunity, since it was shut down, to make it all new.
Then, just a few weeks before they were set to open, it caught fire again.
Firefighters were called to Gilbert's Lodge in St. Clair Shores around 4 a.m. Thursday. No injuries, the damage not nearly as bad, but the hearts of the people who work here are shattered.
But instead of giving up, Louis stuck with the place that had become a staple in St. Clair Shores and reopened Gilbert's Lodge in July of 2014.
I'd be working on it, getting the place ready, and I would have 50 to 100 people every day stopping by just to give me encouragement to keep going.
I know people that are coming here that are over 60 years old that came here during high school. It would be devastating if he wouldn't have rebuilt.
And ever since, Gilbert's Lodge has been busy serving the neighborhood it loves.
And when it came back, they came back strong. You know, I mean, you can't keep a place like this down.
So joining us live now, Terrell DeVault, who's the sous chef at Gilbert's Lodge, and you already met Louis. Good to see you. Good to see you again, because I used to see you all the time in the neighborhood, and it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Chef. So what are you going to help us understand? Because we're heading into this time of the year where we're cooking and doing all kinds of stuff for family.
Well, we've been trying to create a little bit more healthy sautés, we call them.
Okay.
No, they're all the sauces. There are 3 different sauces. They're all gluten-free.
Wow.
You have a choice of either whole wheat linguine or our brown rice, which is also gluten-free. And so today we're just going to be doing a shrimp and scallop with an assortment of vegetables.
Okay. Our
garlic sauce, and we'll actually produce a little bit extra garlic. We'll brought a little minced garlic too. So
okay,
so you know, we were talking about this idea of chopping and spooning and doing. Is there a trick to chopping vegetables? Because you know, if you've noticed on the show, I'm gonna put up my sleeves first of all. But I mean, you've noticed that Tati is the only one allowed to have a knife, and I think that's in her contract. I don't know if that's the way this works. But is there a trick? Is it just getting into it, Chef?
You know, let me answer that question, because I've had so many people over the 40 years in the restaurant business. They use the wrong size knives for the job that they have.
Or unsharpened, maybe?
Unsharpened too, but sometimes they use too big of a knife.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I always suggest using a smaller knife, and it's a little bit more controllable.
Okay.
And
all right, well, I'm only allowed to have spoons.
There you go.
So, okay.
We're going to let you
what
have
are we going to do?
spoons.
Tell us what we're up to.
Okay, well, what we're about to start off with now is about to sear the scallops and the shrimp. So what I want you to do is to put the shrimps in this pan right here.
This one here?
Right.
Got it.
All right. Nice little.
Yeah. I was good at that part. Yeah.
Get a nice little sear on the shrimp. And right here, I want you to put the vegetables in here right over here.
You want me to do it?
I want you to do
Okay,
it.
stand back, everybody.
All right,
Don't smile. That's,
Nope.
I could do vegetables, Donnie.
No, I know you can. Chuck is great.
You want these two?
We just
No,
have a
you
lot
just
of fun.
put this one right here. And give it a little toss around.
All right.
Make sure the vegetables
Look
are
at that
cooked
toss.
all the way through. Nice
So what's
shrimp.
the trick, Louis, when you're looking at shrimp or scallops? Is it they're turning pink? Is that the idea? When do you know it's cooked?
Go ahead, Jerry.
Usually when they turn pink and they cooked all the way through.
Yeah.
And that's a good indication that they are done.
All right.
And the trick is to not overcook your shrimp and your scallops, right? Because that's when they're rubbery, and then people say that they don't like these items, but it's just they weren't cooked right.
Yeah, that's
You
terrible.
want me to do any flipping here, Chef? Should
Yeah,
I?
if you
Go
can't
for it,
go,
Chef.
go,
Oh,
go
yeah.
ahead. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, go
Louis,
ahead,
Louis is
ahead.
going, oh my gosh.
yeah.
Oh, wait, I did it.
Now
No,
what
that's just a little mushroom. We just bury that. That's how we
Now
do
what
it.
I need you, what I need you to do now is add the scallops to the shrimp.
Add the scallops. Well, here, you know what? You need to do this because there's fire. There's fire and knives.
There we go.
Okay. Add a little garlic to it, a little tablespoon or two of garlic.
Tablespoon or two. Let's
Yeah,
kick it up a
Just
notch.
kick it up with the garlic. Yeah,
Bam.
let's kick it up.
Okay.
I love a little garlic.
So when you're looking at the trends, you were talking about healthy, gluten-free. These are more than buzzwords. I mean,
Yeah, they've come a long ways now. They found so much of the wheat now, and the
Yeah.
sugars in the wheat cater to a lot of different things. So
Sure.
we're definitely trying to stay with the more trend.
yeah.
Let's talk about this garlic sauce. Do you guys make that in-house?
Go ahead, Cheryl. We
Yes,
make
we
it all
do.
in-house.
We all make everything all in-house. All our stuff is gluten-free for all our stir fries and everything. So,
Which is a very big deal because a lot of people don't realize that there's gluten in all of these sauces.
Yeah, there can be, right? And having a son that, Charlie has got that issue. So we're always mindful of that. Where can you go? And so that's nice to know. All right.
So now, just so everybody out there knows, you cook the shrimp a little bit longer than the scallops,
Yeah.
right? Scallops don't need that much time.
no, they don't.
Right.
Especially these smaller scallops that we have. They cook really pretty fast.
I'm going to do it this way, Chef, so I don't throw the vegetables all over the studio. I don't want to do that.
All right.
We're ready for
All right.
put the sauce in there.
Okay.
What else should I do?
I need you to add like maybe 2 tablespoons of the sauce.
This?
Our
yeah.
traditional, on
here?
our
Yeah.
vegetables.
On the vegetables. All right. 2.
Well, one more
No,
sauce.
that's garlic
more.
sauce.
Garlic sauce.
Give
Oh,
it a
there's a
nice-
little mushroom there. We go.
Yeah, give it a nice little flip.
Well, it fell in. It had to.
Yeah, you put it back in there.
Yeah.
There you
Very
go.
nice.
See, but you can feel that this is going to be a meal that, while it's a large meal, because I know your portions are big,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to take this on, and it's not going to feel like it's with you for the whole night. This is a nice size and nice light meal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Have a room for some refreshments.
We all love refreshments here on Live.
All right, Chef. What else do I need to be thinking of? Anything else?
Add the pasta into
Add the
this.
pasta. All of it?
All of it.
All of it. Okay.
Oh,
We should
yeah.
point out that this recipe, by the way, is going to be on our webpage. Click on Detroit.com under Live in the D tab. Gilbert's Lodge, as we mentioned, is in St. Clair Shores on Harper. So that's good to know. We're going to finish it.
This up
Yeah.
and give you guys a full report on how delicious
Louis,
I
Merry
already know that
Christmas.
this is going
Nice
to be.
to see you.